All right. Hey guys, this is Mr. K. Hopefully you just watched Mr. Smith's awesome video, and he kind of let you know what to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to read through the reading with you and help you kind of get through some of the questions if you need it. So what I have in my tab, obviously, is I have the questions open, so that way I can watch the video and answer the questions as I go. As I go through, you can pause this anytime you want once we get to an answer if you think we found one, and then you can go ahead and answer the question if you need to. So I'm not going to give you the answers, but I'm going to hopefully give you a little bit of help if you're struggling. Okay. So we're going to start at the top. First question we're going to look for is what values do humanism emphasize? How is this so different um, from what was expected of society during the medieval empire, medieval Europe? I know with Miss Calabrese's class, we did discuss this a little bit before we left. So let's see what we got here. Okay. The Renaissance was a fervent point of European culture, artistic, political, and economic rebirth following the Middle Ages. Generally described as taking place in the 14th century to the 17th century, the Renaissance promoted the rediscovery of classical philosophy, literature, and art. Some of the greatest thinkers, authors, statesmen, scientists, and artists in human history thrived during this area, while global exploration opened up new lands and cultures to European commerce. The Renaissance is credited with bridging the gap between the Middle Ages and modern day civilization. From darkness to light, the Renaissance begins. So we're going to talk about the beginning of it. No questions really there. Second question is actually, where did it begin in Europe? So we may see something there. During the Middle Ages, a period that took place between the fall of ancient Rome in 476 AD and the beginning of the 14th centuries, Europeans made few advances in sciences and art. Also known as the Dark Ages, the era is often branded as a time of war, ignorance, famine, and pandemics such as the Black Death. Some historians, however, believe that such grim depictions of the Middle Ages were greatly exaggerated, though many agree that there were relatively little regard for ancient Greek and Roman philosophies and learning at the time. Humanism. This looks like question one here. We may find something. During the 14th century, again, we're looking for what was it? What did it emphasize? And how was it different from what the Middle Ages kind of emphasized? So during the 14th century, a cultural movement called humanism began to gain. I'm trying to underline there. Did I underline? There you go. Began to gain momentum in Italy. Among its many principles, humanism promoted the idea that man was the center of his own universe and people should embrace human achievements in education, classical arts, literature, and science. In 1450, the invention of the Gutenberg printing press allowed for improved communications through Europe for ideas to spread more quickly. As a result of this advance in communication, little known texts from early humanist authors, such as those by Francesco Petrarch and Giovanni Boccaccio, which promoted the renewal of traditional Greek and Roman culture and values, were printed and rediscovered in masses. Additionally, many scholars believed advances in international finance and trade impacted culture in Europe and set the stage for the Renaissance. So we don't really have the full answer for the second part of that, but you got to think, what was the difference between how people lived and what people valued in the Middle Ages compared to what they valued during the Renaissance? Okay, so think about that. People really like that human achievements. Was that necessarily the case in the Middle Ages? I don't know. All right, let's go to the Medici family. The Renaissance started in Florence, Italy, a place with rich cultural history, where there were wealthy citizens could afford to support buildings. Members of the Medici family, which ruled Florence for more than 60 years, were famous backers of the movement. Great Italian writers, artists, politicians, and others declared that they were participating in an intellectual and artistic revolution that would be much different than what they experienced during the Dark Ages. Let me read that sentence again. That could help us with the second part of question number one. So it says, great Italian writers and others declared that they were much participating in an intellectual and artistic revolution that would be much different from what they experienced during the Dark Ages.